This next item made a lot of U.S. consumers sit up and take notice today. Bluefin tuna caught off the California coast have been found to contain elevated levels of radioactive matter dating back to the Japanese earthquake and tsunami that led to that nuclear accident at the Fukushima power plant. I'll report tonight from NBC's Miguel Almaguer.
Today at the San Pedro Fish Market in Southern California, Don Cadota inspects the catch of the day and stressed his fish are safe to eat.
The word radiation creates fear in people.
The 15 bluefin tuna caught and tested off California's coast last summer showed low levels of radiation, but still 10 times higher than normal. Scientists say it's the first time a fast-moving migrating fish has been shown to carry radioactivity from Japanese waters.
We almost didn't believe it, to tell you the truth.
Dr. Nicholas Fisher, professor of marine sciences, co-authored the study.
Every single fish was significantly contaminated with 2 radioisotopes of cesium. These are common waste products from nuclear accidents.
The research shows the bluefin tuna that spawn and feed in the waters near the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant migrated some 6,000 miles, reaching Southern California just a few months after the disaster. Though the sample fish are contaminated, the levels are far lower than what's considered dangerous. Today, the FDA said they'll continue to monitor radiation levels in fish, and no public health concern has been detected.
You sit on a throne of lies.
I don't think I'll change the way that I eat, not at the moment.
It's definitely made me alter just a little bit, not eat quite so much.
Look at the tuna jumping right there.
Massive in size, up to 10 feet, and weighing more than 1,000 pounds, Pacific bluefin tuna is a delicacy, often eaten as sushi around the world. Scientists say the real test on how radiation affects migrating fish will come this summer. Researchers will look at fish that have spent more time in contaminated waters and could have even higher levels of pollution.
I think that is a distinct possibility, and we honestly don't know the answer.
Today, Japanese officials announced they'll conduct more testing in their waters. This as researchers here do the same. Miguel Almaguer, NBC News, San Pedro, California.
We also have another amazing story here. Of course, we've reported about what's going on with Fukushima. Here we are 6 years after the initial event. Radiation levels are rising. They're sending these robots in to try to see what's been breached, what is leaking, and so forth. And now we've had a second robot break down in just 2 weeks as it's looking at the record high radiation levels. This is now the 7th robot to have broken down while investigating Fukushima's nuclear reactor. So understand, but even though we have these DARPA projects, we say, oh, we're not really working on robots that we're going to use as autonomous killing machines against the general public. No, 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 no. We just want to have these robots so that we can go in and take care of disasters like we have at Fukushima. And yet the robots are dying from the radiation. A TEPCO spokeswoman told phys.org that they don't yet know whether it was radiation or debris that stopped the most recent robot. But this is the second robot in 2 weeks, the 7th robot since this happened 6 years ago. Last week, the one that died, it was radiation. The camera was fried by record high levels of radiation. So when I look at this, and we got these environmentalists who are telling us, and I've actually went to a fair where they were talking about solar power, because although I don't think that solar power is going to meet our needs or even come close to it in terms of the grid, I'm all for getting off of the grid. I'm all for decentralization of electrical power, just like I'm for decentralization of political power, because when you centralize electrical power production, you are centralizing political control of people as well. So I was looking for solar power to use in my home, and I was absolutely amazed to find a tent where these environmentalists, the so-called environmentalists, are just singing the praise of nuclear power. You've got to be kidding. You've got to be kidding me. I mean, this is post-Fukushima, of course. And I have to say that no matter how much carbon you've got in a plant, it isn't going to kill a robot. And I don't care if you're talking about carbon monoxide or you're talking about carbon dioxide, it's not going to kill a robot. Carbon dioxide is what we all breathe, and of course they want fewer of us. They don't realize that it's what plants need. We have that perfect symbiotic relationship that was created by God between plants and animals. They want to pretend doesn't exist. But when you look at nuclear power, you look at the issues of aging nuclear reactors, and of course we, after Fukushima, we had the former head of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission here in the United States say we need to shut down all of our nuclear power plants until we can redesign them more safely. He was the former head of the NRC. Because what do you do with the power plants once they've been in operation for a while? Just as it is destroying these robots, it creates problems for everything else in the plant itself. And the plant itself needs to be shut down, deconstructed, and stored just like the nuclear waste. And how long does all that need to be stored? And at what cost? You see, they don't ever put those costs in their calculations to determine what the fuel costs are. They don't calculate in the in-life storage of this nuclear fuel because there's no way that you can put a dollar figure on that. How are you going to keep this stuff safe and isolated for 1,000 years or whatever? Okay, you just can't. And of course, the spent fuel that was stored at Fukushima was a large part of what that problem was. So they're just kicking the nuclear can down the road. It's a very dangerous situation. Of course, as we're seeing these aging nuclear power plants in the United States that have been given in many cases like a 25-year lease for operation, once they get to the point where they've reached their end of life, they just say, well, never mind, we're just going to arbitrarily extend that for another bit of time.
This is James Ledbetter signing off for the News Guru.